very understandably.
Okay.
I'm here. I just Well, it looks like we're live on YouTube now. Welcome to the Instant Shakespeare Company reading of Love's Labour's Lost. We need to get going with this, but we do have some people who've had some issues, and so we hope Marie will be joining us by the time she comes in. And so, hi, my name is Paul Sugarman for the Instant Shakespeare Company. And let me just introduce the people who are here, and we can dive into it. And we're still waiting for our, our custard has gone out and is coming back, hopefully with better sound. And Bill. Bill, I can't, it's weird, I can't hear you.
Now you can. I'm Bill, I'm playing King Ferdinand.
Okay, and Ben.
Oh.
I'm Bennett Pology, I will be Verone.
And Rachel.
I'm Rachel Sheffrin playing Rosalind.
And Jennifer.
Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm reading for Maria Moss and Giacometto.
And Eleanor.
I'm Eleanor Elizabeth Foreman, and I'm going to be playing Longueville, and Holofernes is the pedant.
Okay, and Jackie.
Oh, I'm Jacqueline Margolis, and I'm going to play Boyat.
Julie.
Yes, hi, I'm Julie Kirshner, and I'm going to play Dumas, Dull, and a Forester.
And Angus.
Hi, Angus Hepburn, all the way from London, UK, playing Don Armando.
All righty. And as I say, so we're missing at this point Ken, who hopefully should be back soon, and Marie and Jennifer Finger. Marie is the Princess of France. And let's just dive into it, since we have most of the principals here for the beginning, and we'll see what happens. This is the Instant Shakespeare Company reading of Love's Labour's Lost.
Let fame that all hunt after in their lives have registered upon our brazen tombs, and then grace us with the grace of death, when, spite of cormorant devouring time, the endeavor of this present breath may buy that honor which shall bait his scythe's keen edge, and make us heirs of all eternity. Therefore, brave conquerors, for so you are, that war against your own affections and the huge army of the world's desires. Our late edict shall strongly stand in force. Navarre shall be the wonder of the world. Our court shall be a little academy, still and contemplative in living art. You three, Verone, Dumaine, and Longueville, have sworn for 3 years' term to live with me, my fellow scholars, and to keep those statutes which are recorded in the schedule here. Your oaths are passed, and now subscribe your names, that his own hand may strike his honor down that violates the smallest branch herein. If you are armed to do, as sworn to do, subscribe to your deep oaths and keep it too.
I am resolved. 'Tis but a 3 years fast. The mind shall banquet of the potty pine. Fat punches shall have lean pates, and dainty bits make rich the ribs, but banker out the wits.
My loving lord, Dumaine is mortified. The grosser manner of these world's delight he throws upon the gross world's baser slaves. To love, to wealth, to pomp, I pine and die with all these living in philosophy.
I can but say their protestation over. So much, dear liege, I have already sworn, that is, to live and love, and to live and study here 3 years, but there are other strict observances, as not to see a woman in that term, which I hope well is not enrolled there, and 1 day in a week to touch no food, but one meal on every day beside, the which I hope is not enrolled there, and then to sleep but 3 hours in the night and not be seen to wink of all the day, when I was wont to think no harm all night, and make a dark night too of half the day, which I hope well is not enrolled there. Oh, these are barren tasks, too hard to keep. Not to see ladies, study, fast, not sleep.
Your oath is passed to pass away from these.
Let me say.
Let me say no, my liege, and if you please, I only swore to study with your grace and stay here in your court for 3 years' space.
You swore to that, Baron, and to the rest.
By yea and nay, sir, then I swore in jest. What is the end of study, let me know?
Why, what to know which else we should not know?
Things hid and barred, you mean, from common sense.
Aye, that is study's godlike recompense.
Come on, then, I will swear to study so. To know a thing I am forbid to know, and thus to study where I may well dine, when I to fast so expressly am forbid. Or study where to meet some mistress fine, when mistresses from common sense are hid. Or having sworn too hard a keeping oath, study to break it and not break my troth. If study's gain be thus, and this be so, study knows that which yet it doth not know. Swear me to this, and I will ne'er say no.
These be the stops that hinder study quite, and train our intellect to vain delight.
Why? All delights are vain, and that most vain which with pain purchased doth inherit pain, as painfully to pore upon a book, to seek the light of truth, while truth the while doth falsely blind the eyesight of his look. Light seeking light doth light of light beguile, so ere you find where light in darkness lies, your light grows dark by losing of your eyes. Study me how to please the eye indeed, by fixing it upon a fairer eye, who dazzling so that eye shall be his heed, and give him light that it was blinded by. Study is like the heaven's glorious sun, that will not be deep searched with saucy looks. Small have continual plotters ever won, save base authority from other books. These earthly godfathers of heaven's lights, that give a name to every fixed star, have no more profit of their shining nights than those that walk and what not what they are. Too much to know is to know not but fame, and every godfather can give a name.
Oh, well, he's read to reason against reading.
Proceeded well to stop all good proceeding.
He weeds the corn, and still let's grow the weeding.
The spring is near when green geese are breeding.
How follows that?
Fit in his place and time.
In reason, nothing.
Something then in rhyme.
Baron is like an envious sneaping frost that bites the firstborn infants of the spring.
Well, say I am. Why should proud summer boast before the birds have any cause to sing? Why should I joy in any abortive birth? At Christmas I no more desire arose than wish a snow in May's newfangled shows, but like of each thing that in season grows. So you to study now is too late, that were to climb o'er the house to unlock the gate.
Well, sit you out. Go home, Baron. Adieu.
No, my good lord, I've sworn to stay with you. And though I have for barbarism spoke more than for that angel knowledge you can say, yet confident I'll keep what I have sworn, and bide the penance of each 3 year's day. Give me paper, let me read the same, and to the strictest decrees I'll write my name.
How well this yielding rescues thee from shame.
Item. That no woman shall come within a mile of my court. Hath this been proclaimed?
4 days ago.
Well, let's see the penalty on pain of losing her tongue. Who devised this penalty?
Marry, that did I.
Sweet Lord, and why?
To fright them hence with that dread penalty, a dangerous law against gentility. Item, if any man be seen to talk with a woman within the term of 3 years, he shall endure such public shame as the rest of the court shall possibly devise.
This article, my liege, yourself must break, for well you know that here comes an embassy, the French king's daughter, with yourself to speak, a maid of grace and complete majesty, about surrender up of Aquitaine to her decrepit, sick, and bedrid father. Therefore, this article is made in vain, or vainly comes the admired princess hither.
What say you, lords? Why, this was quite forgot.
So, study evermore is overshot, while it doth study to have what it would. If it doth forget to do the thing it should. And when it hath the thing it hunteth most, 'tis one as towns with fire, so won, so lost.
We must of force dispense with this decree. She must lie here on mere necessity.
Necessity will make us all forsworn, 3,000 times within this 3 years' space. For every man with his affects is born, not by might mastered, but by special grace. If I break faith, this word shall break for me. I am forsworn on mere necessity. So to the laws at large, I write my name, and he that breaks them in the least degree stands an attainder of eternal shame. Suggestions are to others as to me, but I believe, although I seem so loath, I am the last that will last keep his oath. But is there no quick recreation granted?
That there is. Our court, you know, is haunted by a refined traveler of Spain, a man in all the world's new fashion planted, that hath a mint of phrases in his brain, one who the music of his own vain tongue doth ravish like enchanting harmony, a man of compliments, whom right and wrong have chose as umpire of their mutiny. This child of fancy, that Armado hight, for interim to our studies shall relate, and high-born words the worth of many a night. From tawny Spain lost in the world's debate, how you delight, my lords, I know not, but I protest, I love to hear him lie, and I will use him for my minstrelsy.
Armado is a most illustrious wight, a man of fire, new words, fashion's own knight.
Costard the swain and he shall be our sport, and so to study 2 years is but short.
Which is the Duke's own person?
This fellow, what wouldst?
I myself reprehend his own person, for I am his Grace's Tharborough. But I would see his own person in flesh and blood.
Well, there is he.
Signor Arme commends you. There's villainy abroad. This letter will tell you more.
Sir, the contempts thereof are as touching me.
Letter from the magnificent Armado.
How low soe'er the matter, I hope in God for high words.
I hope for a low heaven. God grant us patience.
To hear or forbear hearing.
To hear meekly, sir, and to laugh moderately, or to forbear both.
Well, sir, be it as the style shall give us cause to climb in the merriness.
The matter is to me, sir, as concerning Jaquenetta, the manner of it is, I was taken with the manner.
In what manner?
In manner and form following, sir, all those three. I was seen with her in the manor house, sitting with her upon the form, and taken following her into the park, which put together is in manner and form following. Now, sir, for the manner. It is the manner of a man to speak to a woman for the form in some form.
For the following, sir.
As it shall follow in my correction, and God defend the right.
Do you hear this letter with attention?
As we would hear an oracle.
Such is the simplicity of man to hearken after the flesh.
Great Deputy, the Welkin's Vicegerent and sole dominator of Navarre, my soul's earth and body's for stringed patron.
Not a word of Costard yet.
So it is.
It may be so, but if he say it is so, he isn't telling true, but so.
Peace.
Be to me and every man that dares not fight.
No words.
What are men's secrets, I beseech you.
So it is besieged with sable-colored melancholy. I did commend the black oppressing humor to the most wholesome psychic of thy health-giving air. And as I am a gentleman, betook myself to walk. The time when? About the 6th hour, when beasts and most graze, birds best peck, and men sit down to that nourishment which is called supper. So much for the time when. Now for the ground which I mean I walked upon, it is eclipsed, thy park. Then for the place where I mean I did encounter that obscene and most preposterous event that draweth from my snow-white pen the ebon-colored ink, which here thou viewest, beholdest, surveyest, or seest, but to the place where it standeth north, northeast, and by east from the west corner of thy curious knotted garden, there did I see the low-spirited swain, that base minnow of thy mirth.
Me?
That unlettered, small-knowing soul.
Me?
That shallow vassal.
Still me?
Which, as I remember, hight costard.
Oh.
Sorted and consorted, contrary to the established, proclaimed edict and continent canon, which with this I passion to say wherewith.
With a whip.
With a child of our grandmother Eve, a female, for thy more sweet understanding, a woman, him I, as my ever-esteemed duty pricks me on, have sent to thee to receive the need of punishment by the sweet graces officer Anthony Dull, a man of good repute, carriage, bearing, and estimation.
Be as it please you. I am Anthony Dull.
For Jaquenetta, so is the weaker vessel called, which I apprehended with the aforesaid swain. I keep her as a vassal for thy law's fury, and shall at the least of thy sweet notice bring her to trial. Thine in all compliments of devoted and heart-burning heat of duty, Don Adriana de Armado.
Not so well as I looked for, but the best that I've ever heard.
Aye, the best for the worst. But sir, what say you to this?
Sir, I confess the wench.
Did you hear the proclamation?
I do confess much of the hearing it, but little of the marking of it.
It was proclaimed a year's imprisonment to be taken with a wench.
I was taken with none, sir. I was taken with a damoiselle.
Well, it was proclaimed damoiselle.
This was no damoiselle neither, sir. She was a virgin.
It was so varied too, for it was proclaimed virgin.
If it were, I deny her virginity. I was taken with a maid.
This maid will not serve your turn, sir.
This maid will serve my turn, sir.
Sir, I will pronounce your sentence. You shall fast a week with bran and water.
I'd rather pray a month with mutton and porridge.
And Don Armado shall be your keeper. My lord Baron, see him delivered o'er, and go we lords to put in practice that which each to each hath so strongly sworn.
I'll lay my head to any good man's hat. These oaths and laws will prove an idle scorn. Sarah, come on!
I suffer for the truth, sir. For true it is, I was taken with Jaquenetta, and Jaquenetta is a true girl, and therefore welcome the sour cup of prosperity. Affliction may one day smile again, and until then, sit down sorrow.
Boy, what sign is it when a man of great spirit grows melancholy?
A great sign, sir, that he will look sad.
Oh, why? Sadness is one and the self-same thing, dear imp.
No, oh Lord, sir, no.
Oh, how canst thou part sadness? Sorry, I'm stealing somebody. Who's Bragg? Am I Bragg? How canst thou part sadness and melancholy, my tender Juvenal?
By a familiar demonstration of the working, my tough signor.
Oh, why tough signor? Why tough signor?
Why tender juvenile? Why tender juvenile?
Oh, I spoke it, tender juvenile, as a congruent epithet appertaining to thy young days, which we may nominate tender.
And I, tough signor, as an appurtenant title to your old time, which we may name the tough.
Oh, pretty and apt.
How mean you, sir? I pretty and my saying apt? Or I apt and my saying pretty?
Pretty because little.
Little pretty because little, wherefore apt?
And therefore apt because quick.
Speak you this in my praise, master.
In thy condign praise.
I will praise an eel with the same praise.
What? That an eel is ingenuous?
That an eel is quick.
Oh, I do say thou art quick in answers, thou hearst. It's my blood.
Unanswered, sir.
Oh, I love not to be crossed.
He speaks the mere contrary, crosses love not him.
I have promised to study him 3 years with the Duke.
You may do it in an hour, sir.
Oh, impossible.
How many's one thrice told?
Oh, I am ill at reckoning. It fits the spirit of a tapster.
You're a gentleman and a gamester, sir.
Oh, I confess both. They are both the varnish of a complete man.
Then I'm sure you know how much the gross sum of Deuceace amounts to.
It doth amount to 1 more than 2.
Which the base vulgar call 3.
Oh, true, boy. Why, sir, is this such a piece of study?
Now here's 3 studied. Ere you thrice wink, and how easy it is to put years to the word 3 and study 3 years in 2 words, the dancing horse will tell you.
A most fine figure.
To prove you a cipher.
I will hereupon confess I am in love, and as it is base for a soldier to love, so am I in love with a base wench. If drawing my sword against the humor of affection would deliver me from the reprobate thought of it, I would take Desire prisoner and ransom him to any French courtier for a new devised courtesy. I think scorn to sigh. Methinks I should outswear Cupid. Oh, comfort me, boy. What great men have been in love?
Sure.
Most sweet Hercules, more authority, dear boy, name more. And sweet, my child, let them be men of good repute and carriage.
Samson, master, he was a man of rich, great carriage, for he carried the town gates on his back like a porter, and he was in love.
Oh, well knit Samson, strong jointed Samson. I do excel thee in my rapier, as much thou didst me in carrying gates. I am in love too. Who was Samson's love, my dear moth?
A woman, master.
Of what complexion?
Of all the 4, or the 3, or the 2, or one of the 4.
No, tell me what precisely of what complexion?
Of the seawater green, sir.
Is that one of the 4 complexions?
As I've read, sir, and the best of them too.
Oh, green indeed is the color of lovers, but to have a love of that color, methinks Samson had small reason for it. He surely affected her for her wit.
It was so, sir, for she had a green wit.
Ah, my love is most immaculate white and red.
Most immaculate thoughts, master, are masked under such colors.
Ah, define, well-educated infant.
My father's wit and my mother's tongue assist me.
Oh, sweet invocation of a child most pretty and pathetic.
If she be made of white and red, Her faults will ne'er be known, for blushing cheeks by faults are bred, and fierce by pale whites shown. Then fears, or be to blame, by this you shall not know, for still her cheeks possess the same which native she doth owe. A dangerous rhyme, master, against the reason of white and red.
Ah, is there not a ballet boy of the king and the beggar?
The world was very guilty of such a ballet some 3 ages since, but I think now 'tis not to be found, or if it were, it would neither serve for the writing nor the tune.
I will have a subject newly writ, or that I may example my digression by some mighty president. Boy, I do love that country girl that I took in the park with the rational hind costard. Oh, she deserves well.
To be whipped, and yet a better love than my master.
Oh, sing, boy. My spirit grows heavy in Jove.
And that's great marvel, loving a light wench.
I say sing.
Forbear till this company be past.
Oh.
Sir, the Duke's pleasure is that you keep Custard safe, and you must let him take no delight, nor no penance, but he must fast 3 times a week. For this damsel, I must keep her at the park. She is allowed for the day woman. Fare you well.
I do betray myself with blushing maid.
Man,
I will visit thee at the lodge.
that's hereby.
I know where it is situate.
Lord, how wise you are.
I will tell thee wonders.
With what face?
I love thee.
So I heard you say.
And so, farewell.
Fair weather after you.
Come, Jaconetta. Away.
Villain, thou shalt fast for thy offences ere thou be pardoned.
Well, sir, I hope when I do it, I shall do it on a full stomach.
Thou shalt be heavily punished.
I am more bound to you than your fellows, for they are but lightly rewarded.
Oh, take away this villain. Shut him up.
Come, you transgressing slave, away.
Let me not be pent up, sir. I will fast being loose.
No, sir, that we're fast and loose, thou shalt to prison.
Well, if ever I do see the merry days of desolation that I have seen, some shall see.
What shall some see?
Name nothing, Master Moat, but what they look upon. It is not for prisoners to be silent in their words, and therefore I will say nothing. I thank God I have as little patience as another man, and therefore I can be quiet.
I do affect the very ground which is base, where her shoe, which is baser, guided by her foot, which is basest, doth tread. I shall be forsworn, which is a great argument of falsehood, if I love. And how can that be true love, which is falsely attempted? Love is a familiar. Love is a devil. There is no evil angel but love, yet Samson was so tempted, and he had an excellent strength. Oh, yet was Samson so seduced, and he had a very good wit. Cupid's butt shaft is too hard for Hercules' club, and therefore too much odds for a Spaniard's rapier. The first and second cause will not serve my tongue. The passado here respects not the dueller, he regards not. His disgrace is to be called boy, but his glory is to subdue men. Adieu, valor, rust, rapier, be still, drum, for your manager is in love. Yea, he loveth. Assist me, some extemporal god of rhyme, for I am sure I shall turn sonnet, devise wit, write pen, for I am for whole volumes in folio.
Now, madam, summon up your dearest spirits. Consider who the king your father sends, to whom he sends, and what's his embassy. Yourself, held precious in the world's esteem, to parley with the sole inheritor of all perfections that a man may own. Matchless Navarre, the plea of no less weight than Aquitaine, a dowry for a queen, be now as prodigal of all dear grace, as nature was in making graces dear, when she did starve the general world beside, and prodigy gave them all to you. Is there a princess around? Hello? Have you a princess? The queen? Is the queen in town? Hello? Have we a queen? Has she ever shown up?
Give me
Hi, I think she's just joining us now. So, you know, sometimes you have to wait for royalty.
Very
There she is.
apologize. Please tell me where we are. I totally got confused.
Page 23, your entrance. Your
Okay.
first
You
line.
start with good. You start
What
with
an
good.
entrance. I apologize. Okay. Page
The
20.
middle of the page 23. Good, Lieutenant Boyard, Lord Boyard. That's you.
Okay. Is it at the end of page 23?
Middle,
Middle of 23.
where it says queen.
Okay. Good, I, Boyd, my beauty, though but mean, need not be painted flourish of your praise. Beauty is bought by judgment of the eye, not uttered by base sale of chapman's tongue. I am less proud to hear you tell my worth than you much willing to be counted wise in spreading your wit in the praise of mine. But now to task the tasker, good boy.
Is there a proud of employment? Willingly I go. Where are you? What line are
Queen
you?
and the princess are the same person.
What?
So, the queen and the princess are the same
You are
person.
not ignorant, all telling fame, thy noise the broad Navarre has made a woe, till painful study shall outwear 3 years, no women may approach his silent court. Therefore to Thames his needful course, before we enter his forbidden gate. To know his pleasure, and in that behalf, bold of your worthiness, we single you as our best moving fair solicitor. Tell him, the daughter of the King of France, on serious business, craving quick dispatch, importune personal conference with his grace, hate signifies so much while we attend, like humble visage, sutter his high will.
Proud of employment, willingly I go.
All pride is willing pride, and you is so. Who are the votary, my loving lord? What are woe followers with this virtuous duke?
Longueville is one.
Know you the man?
I know him, madam, at a marriage feast between El Perigord and the beauteous heir of Jacques Fossenbridge solemnized. In Normandy saw I this Longueville, a man of sovereign parts he is esteemed, well fitted in arts, glorious in arms. Nothing becomes him ill that he would well. The only soul of his fair virtuous gloss, if virtuous gloss will stain with any soil, is a sharp wit matched with too blunt a will, whose edge has power to cut whose will still wills. It should none spare that come within his power.
Some merry mocking lord belike, isn't so?
They say so most, that most his humors know.
Such sort lived wits to wither as they grow. Who are the rest?
A young domain, a well-accomplished youth, of all that virtue love for virtue loved, most power to do most harm, least knowing ill. For he hath wit to make an ill shape good, and shape to win grace though she had no wit. I saw him at the Duke Alance's once, and much too little of that good I saw is my report to his great worthiness.
Another of these students at that time was there with him, as I have heard a truth. Barone, they call him. But a merrier man, within the limit of becoming mirth. I never spent an hour's talk withal. His eye begets occasion for his wit. For every object that the one doth catch, the other turns to a mirth-moving jest. Which his fair tongue, conceits expositor, delivers in such apt and gracious words that aged ears play truant at his tales, and young hearings are quite ravished. So sweet and voluble is his discourse.
God bless my ladies. Are they all in love? That everyone here own has garnished with such bedecking ornament of praise.
Here comes Boyan.
Now, what admittance, Lord?
Navarre had notice of your fair approach, and he and his competitors in oath were all addressed to meet you, gentle lady, before I came. Marry, thus much I have learned. He rather means to lodge you in the field, like one that comes here to besiege his court, than seek a dispensation for his oath to let you enter his unpeopled house. Here comes Navarre.
Fair princess, welcome to the court of Navarre.
Fair I give you back again, and welcome I have not yet. The roof of this court is too high to be yours, and welcome to the wide field, too base to be mine.
You shall be welcome, madam, to my court.
I will be welcome then. Conduct me there.
Hear me, dear lady, I have sworn an oath.
Our Lady help, my lord, he'll be forewarned.
Not for the world, fair madam, by my will.
Why? Shall break it will and nothing else?
Your ladyship is ignorant what it is.
Where my lord so, his ignorance were wise, where now his knowledge must prove ignorance. I hear your grace has worn her housekeeping. 'Tis deadly sin to keep that oath, my lord, and sin to break it. But pardon me, I am too sudden bold. To teach a teacher, he'll dismiss me. Wish to read the purpose of my coming, and suddenly revolve me in my suit.
Madam, I will, if suddenly I may.
You will be sooner than I were away. For you'll prove perjury if you make me stay.
Did not I dance with you at Brabant once?
Did not I dance with you at Brabant once?
I know you did.
How needless was it then to ask the question?
You must not be so quick.
'Tis long for you ye spurn me with such questions.
Your wit's too hot, it speaks too fast. 'Twill tire.
Not till it leave the rider in the mire.
What time of day?
How the fool should ask.
Now fair befall your mask.
Fair fall the face it covers.
And send you many lovers.
Amen. So you be none.
Nay, then will I be gone.
Madam, your father here doth intimate the payment of 100,000 crowns, being but the one half of an entire sum disturbed by my father in his wars. But say that he or we, as neither have received the sum, yet there remains unpaid 100,000 more, in surety of which one part of Aquitaine is bound to us, although not valued to the money's worth. If then the king your father will restore, but that one half which is unsatisfied, we will give up our right in Aquitaine, and hold fair friendship with his majesty. But that is, seems he little purposeth, for here he doth demand to have repay 100,000 crowns, and not demands one payment of 100,000 crowns to have his title live in Aquitaine, which We much rather had to part with all and have the money by our father lent than Aquitaine, so gelded as it is. Dear princess, were not his requests so far from reasoning yielding, your fair self should make a yielding against some reason in my breast, and go well satisfied to France again.
You do the king, my father, too much wrong, and wrong the reputation of your name, in so unseeming to confess recite. Of what? Of that which has so faithfully been paid.
I do protest I never heard of it, but if you prove it, I'll repay it back, or yield up Aquitaine.
We arrest your word, but you can produce acquaintance for such a sum from special officers of Charles his father.
Satisfy me so.
To please your grace, the packet is not come, where that and other specialties are bound. Tomorrow you shall have a sight of them.
It shall suffice me. At which interview, all liberal reason would I yield unto. Meantime, receive your welcome to my hand, as honor without breach of honor may make tender of to thy truest worthiness. You may not come, fair princess, in my gates, but here without you shall be so received as you shall deem yourself lodged in my heart, though so denied father harbor in my house. Your own good thoughts excuse me, and farewell. Tomorrow we shall visit you again.
Sweet health and fair desire consort your grace.
Thy own wish I thee in every place.
Is that the boy? I think it's the boy. No? Then I'll read.
Yeah.
Oh, lady, I will commend you to my own heart.
Pray, you do my commendations. I would be glad to see it.
I would you heard it groan.
Is the soul sick?
Sick at the heart.
Alack, let it blood.
Would that do it good?
Well, my physic says I.
Will you prick it with your eye?
No point with my knife.
Now, God, save thy life.
And yours from long living.
Cannot say Thanksgiving.
Sir, I pray you a word. What lady is that same?
The heir of Alençon, Rosalind her name.
Gallant lady. Monsieur, fare you well.
I beseech you a word. What is she in the white?
A woman sometimes, if you saw her in the light.
Perchance light in the light. I desire her name.
She hath but one for herself to desire that were a shame.
Pray you, sir, whose daughter?
Her mother's, I've heard.
God's blessing on your beard.
Good sir, be not offended. She's an heir of Falconbridge.
Nay, my color is ended. She is a most sweet lady.
Not unlike, sir, that may be.
What's her name in the cap?
Catherine, by good hap.
Is she wedded or no?
To her will, sir, or so.
You're welcome, sir. Adieu.
Farewell to me, sir, and welcome to you. Oh, that last is Baron, the merry madcap lords, not a word with him, but a jest. And every jest but a word.
Princess?
Might be mine, I'm not sure. I was as willing to grapple as he was to board. Who says two hot sheeps, Marie?
Oh, two hot sheeps, Marie, and wherefore not ships?
No sheep, sweet lamb, unless we feed on your lips. Who says you sheep and I pasture? Shall that finish the jest? Who says that? Who's L.A.?
I would think it would be the person who just said.
He
Oh,
told me that
Maria.
he made a mistake.
Oh, you. Sorry.
Who's L.A.? Is that Longville or is that a man or who is it? Who is that? L.A. There's something not right here.
I'm not
That
in
should be
sync.
lady.
Yeah.
You sheep
That's
and I.
Maria. Keep going. Keep it going.
Shall I finish the jest?
Wait, where are we?
Top of 33.
Belonging to whom? Someone says to my fortunes and me. Okay.
My fortunes and.
Good. Wits will be jangling, but gentles agree. This civil war of wits were much better used on Navarre and his bookmen, for here 'tis abused.
It's my observation, which very seldom lies, by the heart still rhetoric disclosed with eyes. Deceive me not now, Navarre is infected.
With what?
With that which we lovers entitle affected.
Your reason?
Oh, why, all his behaviors do make their retire to the court of his eye, peeping through desire. His heart like an argot with your print impressed, proud with his form and his eye pride expressed. His tongue all impatient to speak and not see, did stumble with haste in his eyesight to be. All sentenced to that sense did make their repair, to feel only looking on fairest of fair. Methought all his senses were locked in his eye, as jewels in crystal for some prince to buy, who tendering their own worth from whence they were gassed, did point out to buy them along as you passed. His eyes own margented coat such amazes, that all I saw his eyes enchanted with gazes. I'll give you Aquitaine and all that is his, and you give him for my sake but one loving kiss.
Come to our pavilion, boy, and disposed.
But to speak that words with his eye hath disclosed, I only have made a mouth of his eye by adding a tongue which I know will not lie.
Thou art an old love-monger, and speakest skillfully.
He's Cupid's grandfather and learns news of him.
And was Venus like her mother, for her father is but grim.
Do you hear, my mad wenches?
No.
What then? Do you see?
I are way to be gone.
You are too hard for me.
Warble, child, make passionate my sense of hearing.
From Colonel.
Oh, sweet air, go tenderness of years, take this key, give enlargement to the swain, bring him hesitantly thither. I must employ him in a letter to my love.
Will you win your love with the French brawl?
Meanest thou, brawling in French?
No, my complete master, but to jig off a tune at the tongue's end, canary to it with the feet, humor it with turning up your eye, sigh a note and sing a note, sometime through the throat. If you swallow love with singing, love sometime through. Nose as if you snuffed up love by smelling love with your head, penthouse-like, or the shut of your eyes with your arms crossed on your thin belly doublet like a rabbit on a spit, or your hands in your pocket like a man after the old painting, and keep not too long in one tune, but a snip and away. These are compliments, these are humors. These betray nice wenches that would be betrayed without these, and make them mad. Do you note, men, that most are affected to these?
But how hast thou purchased this experience?
By my penny of observation.
But oh,
the hobby horse is forgot.
Callest thou my love hobby horse?
No, master, the hobby horse is but a colt, and your love perhaps a hackney, but have you forgot your love?
Almost I had.
Negligent student, learn by her heart.
By heart and in heart, boy.
And out of heart, master, all those three I will prove.
What wilt thou prove?
A man, if I live, and this by, in, and without, upon the instant. By heart you love her, because your heart cannot come by her. In heart you love her, because your heart is in love with her. And out of heart you love her, being out of heart that you cannot enjoy her.
I am all these three.
And 3 times as much more, and yet nothing at all.
Oh, fetch hither the swain. He must carry me a letter.
A message well sympathized. A horse to be ambassador for an ass.
What sayest thou?
Marry, sir, you must send the ass upon the horse, for he is very slow gaited, but I go.
The way is but short. Away.
As swift as lead, sir.
Oh, thy meaning pretty ingenious. Is not lead a metal heavy, dull, and slow?
Meaning me honest master, or rather master, no.
I say lead is slow.
You're too swift, sir, to say so. Is that lead slow, which is fired from a gun?
Oh, sweet smoke of rhetoric. He reputes me a cannon, and the bullet, that's he. I shoot thee at the swain.
Something, and I flee.
A most acute juvenile, voluble and free of grace. By thy favor, sweet welcome, I must sigh in thy face. Most rude melancholy, valor gives thee place. My herald is returned.
A wonder, master. Here's custard broken in a shin.
Some enigma, some riddle, come, thy l'envoy begin.
No enigma, no riddle, no l'envoy, no salve in the email, sir. Oh, sir, plantain, a plain plantain, no l'envoy, no salve, sir, but a plantain.
Ah, by virtue thou enforcest laughter, thy silly thought, my spleen, the heaving of my lungs provokes me to ridiculous smiling. Oh, pardon me, my stars, doth the inconsiderate take salve for a l'envoy, and the word l'envoy for a salve?
Do the wise think them other? Is not l'envoy a salve?
No, page, it is an epilogue or discourse to make plain some obscure precedent that hath tofore been feigned. Now, I will begin your moral, and do you follow with my l'envoy? The fox, the ape, and the humble bee were still at odds, being but 3. Until the goose came out of door, staying the odds by adding 4.
A good l'envoy, ending in the goose. Would you desire more?
The boy hath sold him a bargain, a goose that's flat. Sir, your pennyworth is good and your goose be fat. To sell a bargain well is as cunning as fast and loose. Let me see a fat l'envoy. Aye, that's a fat goose.
Come hither, come hither. How did this argument begin?
Saying that a custard was broken in a shin, then called you for the l'envoy.
True, and I for a plantain. Thus came your argument in, then the boy's fat l'envoy, the goose that you bought, and he ended the market.
But tell me, how was there a custard broken in a shin?
I will tell you sensibly.
Thou hast no feeling of it, mote. I will speak that l'envoy. I costard running out that was safely within, fell over the threshold and broke my shin.
No, we will take no more of this matter.
Till there be more matter in the shin.
Sarah Costard, I will enfranchise thee.
Oh, marry me to one Francis. I smell some l'envoy, some goose in this.
Oh, by my sweet soul, I mean setting thee at liberty, freedoming thy person. Thou art immured, restrained, captivated, bound.
True, true. And now you will be my purgation, and let me loose.
I give thee thy liberty and set thee from durance, and in lieu thereof impose on thee nothing but this. Bear this significant to the contrary made Jacanetta. Now there is remuneration, for the best ward of mine honors is rewarding my dependence. Moth, follow.
Like the sweet sequel I, Signor Custard, adieu.
My sweet ounce of man's flesh, my incarnate Jew. Now will I look to his remuneration. Remuneration? Oh, that's the Latin word for 3 farthings. 3 farthings remuneration. What's the price of this inkle? A shilling. No, I'll give you a remuneration. Why? It carries it. Remuneration. Why, it is a fairer name than a French crown. I will never buy and sell out of this word.
Ah, my good knave Costard, exceedingly well met.
Pray you, sir, how much carnation ribbon may a man buy for a remuneration?
What's your remuneration?
Marry, sir, halfpenny farthing.
Oh, why, then 3 farthings worth of silk.
I thank your worship, God be with you.
But stay, slave, I must employ thee. As thou wilt win my favor, good my knave, do one thing for me that I shall entreat.
Oh, when would you have it done, sir?
This afternoon.
Well, I will do it, sir. Fare you well.
Oh, thou knowest not what it is.
I shall know, sir, when I have done it.
Why, villain, thou must know it first.
I will come to your worship tomorrow morning.
It must be done this afternoon. Hark, slave, it is but this. The princess comes to hunt here in the park, and in her train there is a gentle lady. When tongues speak sweetly, then they name her name, and Rosalind they call her. Ask for her, and to her white hand see thou do commend this sealed up counsel. There's thy care done. Huh? Go.
Garden. Oh, sweet garden. Better than remuneration. 11 pence farthing better. Most sweet garden. I will do it, sir, in print. Garden. Remuneration.
Oh, and I, forsooth, in love, I that have been love's whip, a very beadle to a humorous sigh, a critic, nay, a night watch constable, a domineering pedant o'er the boy, than whom no mortal so magnificent, this wimpled, whining, purblind, wayward boy, this Senior Junius Grant, giant, dwarf, Don Cupid, regent of love rind, lord of folded arms, the anointed sovereign of sighs and groans, liege of all loiterers and malcontents, dread prince of plackets, king of codpieces, sole imperator, and great general of trotting parroters. Oh, my little heart, and I, to be a corporal of his field, and wear his colors like a tumbler's hoop. What I love, I sue, I seek a wife. What woman is it like a German cloak, still repairing, ever out of frame, and never going aright, being a watch, but being watched that it may still go right? Nay, to be perjured, which is worst of all, and among 3, to love the worst of all, a witly wanton with a velvet brow, with 2 pitch balls stuck in her face for eyes. Aye, and by heaven, one that will do the deed, though Argus were her eunuch and her guard. And I to sigh for her, to watch for her, to pray for her. Go to, it is a plague that Cupid will impose from my neglect of his almighty dreadful little might. Well, I will love, write, sigh, pray, shew, groan. Some men must love my lady, and some Joan.
Was that the king that spurred his horse so hard against the steep uprising of the hill?
I know not, but I think it was not he.
Whoe'er was, assured of mountain mind, well, lords, today we shall have our dispatch. On Saturday we will return to France. Then, Forester, my friend, where is the bush that we must stand and play the murder in?
Thereby upon the edge of yonder coppice, stand where you may make the fairest shoot.
I thank my beauty, I am fair that shoot, and thereupon thou speak the fairest shoot.
Pardon me, madam, for I meant not so.
What? What? First praise me, and then again say no? Oh, short-lived pride! Not fair, like your woe.
Yes, madam, fair.
Never pain me now. Where fair is not, praise cannot mend the brow. Here, go to my glass, take this for telling true. Fair payment for full words is more than due.
Nothing but fair is that which you inherit.
See, see, my beauty will be saved by merit. Oh, Heresine fair, fit for those days, a giving hand, though foul, shall have fair praise. But come the bow, now mercy goes to kill, and shooting well is then accounted hill. The will I save my credit in the shoot, not wounding, pity will not let me dote. I wounded, if wounding, then it was to screw my skill. That more for praise than purpose meant to kill. And out of question, so it is sometimes, glory grow guilty of detested crimes. When for fame's sake, for praise and outward part, we bend to that, the working of the heart, as I praise alone now seek to spill, the poor dearest blood, that my heart means no ill.
Do not cursed wives hold that self-serenity only for praise sake when they strive to be lords over their lords?
Only for praise, and praise we may afford to any lady that should we a lord.
Here comes a member of the Commonwealth.
God dig you dinner. Pray you, which is the head lady?
Thou shalt know her fellow by the rest that have no heads.
Which is the greatest lady, the highest?
The thickest and the tallest.
The thickest.
The thickest and the tallest. The thickest and the tallest. It is so, truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit.
Oh, I must have gone.
Yeah, you went off. Go ahead, go back. It's the
Okay.
thickest and the tallest.
Truth is truth. And your waist, mistress, were as slender as my wit. One of these maids' girdles for your waist should be fit. Are not you the chief woman? You are the thickest here.
What's your will, sir? What's your will?
I have a letter from Monsieur Baron to one Lady Rosaline.
Oh, thy letter. He's a good friend of mine. Stand aside, good bearer. Boyd, you can carve, break upon his capon.
I am bound to serve. This letter is mistook in portus. It in portus none here. It is writ to Jacques Juanetta.
We will read it. I swear, break the neck of the wax, and everyone care, and everyone hear.
By heaven, thou art fair, is most infallible. True that thou art beauteous, truth itself that thou art lovely, more fairer than fair, beautiful than beauteous, truer than truth itself, have commiseration on thy heroical vessel, the magnanimous and most illustrate king Cofeta set eye upon the pernicious indubiate beggar Xenophon, and he it was that mighty righty say veni vidi vici, which to anathemize in the vulgar, oh base and obscure vulgar, vidi list he came, see and overcame, he came one, He too overcame three. Who came? The king. Why did he come? To see. Why did he see? To overcome. To whom came he? To the beggar. What saw he? The beggar. Who overcame he? The beggar. The conclusion is victory. On whose side? The king. The captive is enriched. On whose side? The beggars. The catastrophe is a nuptial. On whose side? The king's. No, on both in one, or one in both. I am the king, for so stands the comparison. Thou the beggar, for so witnesses thy lowliness. Shall I command thy love? I may. Shall I enforce thy love? I could. Shall I entreat thy love? I will. What? Shalt thou exchange for rags, robes, or titles for thyself, me? Thus expecting thy reply, I propane my lips on thy foot, my eye on thy picture, my heart on thy every part. Thine in the dearest degree of industry done. Adriana de Matho, thou hear the Neman lion roar. Against thee, thou lamb, that standest as his prey, submissive falls his princely feet before, and he from forage will incline to play. But if thou strive, poor soul, what art thou then? Food for its rage, repasture for its den.
What plum of feather is he that indeed this letter? What vein? What weathercock? Did you ever hear better?
I have much to see, but I remember the style.
Else your memory is bad, going o'er it erstwhile.
This Amada is a Spaniard that keeps here in court a Fantasmin, a Monaco, and one that makes sport to the prince and his bookmates.
Thou fellow, a word, who gave thee thy letter?
I tell you, my lord.
To whom should thou give it?
From my lord to my lady.
From which lord to which lady?
From my lord Baron, a good master of mine, to a lady of France that he called Rosaline.
Thou hast mistaken this letter. Come, lords, away. Here, sweet, put up this. 'Twill be thine on another day.
Who is the shooter? Who is the shooter?
Shall I teach you to know?
I, my continent of beauty.
Why, she that bears the bow, finely put off.
My lady goes to kill horns, but if thou marry, hang me by the neck if horns that year miscarry, finely put on.
Well then, I am the shooter.
And who is your dear?
If we choose by the horns, yourself come not near. Finely put on, indeed.
You still wrangle with her by it, and she strikes at the brow.
But she herself is hit low. Have I hit her now?
Shall I come upon thee with an old saying that was a man when King Pippin of France was a little boy, as touching the hit?
So I may answer thee with one as old that was a woman when Queen Genevieve of Britain was a little wench, as touching the hit it.
Thou canst not hit it, hit it, hit it. Thou canst not hit it, my good man.
I can it, and I can it, another can.
Ugh.
By my troth, most pleasant how both did fit it.
A mark marvellous well shot, for they both did hit.
I think that's Boyer.
That mark, a mark sails, my lady. Let the mark have a prick in it to meet it, if it may be.
Wide at the bow hand, if face your hand is out.
Indeed, I must shoot nearer, or it'll ne'er hit the cloud.
And if my hand be out, then be like your hand is in.
Then will she get the upshoot by cleaving the ease in.
Come, come, you talk greasy, your lips grow foul.
She's too odd for you at prick, sir. Challenge her to bowl.
I fear too much rubbing. Good night, my good owl.
By my soul, a swain, a most simple clown. Lord, Lord, how the ladies and I have put him down. Oh, my troth, most sweet jests, most inconny vulgar wit, when it comes so smoothly off, so obscenely, as it were, so fit. Armathor hath to the side, oh, a most dainty man, to see him walk before a lady and to bear her fan, to see him kiss his hand and how most sweetly a will swear, and his page at other side, that handful of wit. Ah, heavens, it is most pathetic knit. Solar, solar.
Very reverent sport, truly, and done in the testimony of a good conscience.
Have a pedant, a teacher. The pedant, is anybody a pedant? Well, some will have to read, I guess.
It should be,
Where is a pedant here? All the names are not up here.
It's Eleanor.
I'm sorry, it is I. Could you give me the page, please?
52.
52, they enter Dull, Holofernes, the pedant, and Nathaniel.
Ah. The deer was, as you know, sanguis in blood, ripe as a palm of water. He now hangeth like a jewel in the ear of Cello the sky, the welkin the heaven, and anon falleth like a crab on the face of Terra, the soil, the land, the earth.
Truly, Monsieur Holofernes, the epithets are sweetly varied like a scholar at the least. But, sir, I assure you it was a buck of the first head.
Sir Nathaniel, how credo?
Was not a hard credo, 'twas a pricket.
Most barbarous intimation, yet a kind of insinuation, as it were invia, in way of explication, facere, as it were replication, or ostentare, to show, as it were, his inclination after his undressed, unpolished, uneducated, unproved, untrained, or rather unlettered, or ratherest unconfirmed fashion, to insert again my hard credo for a deer.
I said the deer was not a hard credo, 'twas a pricket.
Twice odd simplicity. Hic coctus, O thou monster ignorance, how deformed dost thou look?
Sir, he hath never fed of the dainties that are bred in the book. He hath not eat paper, as it were. He hath not drunk ink. His intellect is not replenished. He is only an animal, only sensible in the duller parts. And such barren plants are set before us that we thankful should be, which we taste and feeling are for those parts that do fructify in us more than he. For as it would ill become me to be vain, indiscreet, or a fool, so were there a patch set on learning to see him in a school. But omne bene, say I, being of an old father's mind, many can brook the winter that love not the wind.
You two are bookmen. Can you tell by your wit what was a month old at Cain's birth, but not 5 weeks old as yet?
Dictissima Goodman Doll, Dictissima Goodman Doll.
What is dictima?
A title to Phoebe, to Luna, to the moon.
The moon was a month old when Adam was no more, and wrought not to 5 weeks when he came to 50. The illusion holds in the exchange.
'Tis true indeed. The collusion holds in the exchange.
God comfort thy capacity. I say the illusion holds in the exchange.
And I say the pollution holds in the exchange. For the moon is never but a month old. And I say beside that, 'twas a pricket that the princess killed.
Sir Nathaniel, will you hear an extemporal epitaph on the death of the deer, and to humor the ignorant, called the deer, the princess killed a pricket.
Pergay, good Mr. Holofernes, pergay, so it shall please you to abrogate scurrility.
I will something affect the letter, for it argues facility. The prayerful princess pierced and pricked a pretty pleasing pricket. Some say a sore, but not a sore, till now made sore with shooting. The dogs did yell, put L to sore, then sorrel jumps from thicket, or pricket sore, or else sorrel. The people fall a hooting. If sore be sore, then L to sore makes 50 sores, O sorrel. Of one sore I 100 make, by adding but one more L.
A rare talent.
If a talent be a claw, look how he claws him with a talent.
This is a gift that I have simple, foolish, extravagant spirit, full of forms, figures, shapes, objects, ideas, apprehensions, motions, revolutions. These are begot in the ventricle of memory, nourished in the womb of primature, and delivered upon the mellowing of occasion. But the gift is good in those in whom it is acute, and I am thankful for it.
Sir, I praise the Lord for you, and so may my parishioners, for their sons are well tutored by you, and their daughters profit very greatly under you. You are a good member of the Commonwealth.
Mehercule, if their sons be ingenuous, they shall want no instruction. If their daughters be capable, I will put it to them. But vir sapis qui pacaloquitur, so feminine saluteth us.
God give you good morrow, Master Person.
Master person, quasi person, and if one should be pierced, which is one?
Marry, master, schoolmaster, either is like as to a hogshead.
Of piercing, a hogshead, a good lustre of conceit, in a turf of earth, fire enough for a flint, pearl enough for a swine. 'Tis pretty, it is well.
Good Master Parson, be so good as read me this letter. It was given me by Costard and sent me from Donna Martha. I beseech you read it.
Factile prequagelita quandro pecca somnia sub umbra ruminat. And so forth. Ah, good old Mantuan, I may speak of thee as the traveler doth of Venice. Venture, qui non te unda, che non te percere. Oh, Mantuan, old Mantuan, who understands thee not? Ut re so la mi fa. Under pardon, sir, what are the contents? Or rather, as Horace says in his, what my soul verses?
I, sir, am very learned.
Let me hear a staff, a stanza, verse. Lega domine.
If love make me forsworn, how shall I swear to love? Ah, never could faith could hold, if not to beauty vowed. Though to myself forsworn, to thee I'll faithful prove. Those thoughts to me were oaks, to thee like osiers bowed. Study his bias leaves, and make his book his thine eyes. Where all those pleasures live, that art would comprehend. If knowledge be the mark, to know thee shall suffice. Well learned is that tongue, that well can thee commend. All ignorant that soul that sees thee without wonder, which is to me some praise that I thy parts admire. Thy eye Jove's lightning bears, thy voice is dreadful thunder, which not to anger bent is music and sweet fire. Celestial as thou art, oh, pardon love this wrong, that sings heaven's praise with such an earthly tongue.
You find not the apostrophes, and so miss the accent. Let me supervise the canzonet. Here are only numbers ratified, but for the elegancy, facility, and golden cadence of poesy, correct. Ovidius Naso was the man. And why indeed, Naso? But for smelling out the odoriferous flowers of fancy. The jerks of invention imitarie is nothing. So doth the hound his master, the ape his keeper, the tired horse his rider. But damosel a virgin, was this directed to you?
I, sir, from one Monsieur Baron, one of the strange queen's lords.
I will overglance the superscript. To the snow-white hand of the most beauteous Lady Rosaline. I will look again on the intellect of the letter for the nomination of the party written to the person written unto. Your ladyships in all desired employment, Brown. Parson?
Sir Holofernes, this Baron is one of the votaries with the king, and here he hath framed a letter to a secret of the stranger queens, which accidentally, or by the way of progression, hath miscarried. Trip and go, my sweet. Deliver this paper into the hand of the king. It may concern much. Stay not thy compliment. I forgive thee thy duty. Adieu.
Good costard, go with me. Sir, God save your life.
Have with thee, girl.
Sir, you have done this in the fear of God very religiously, and as a certain father saith.
Sir, tell me not of the father. I do fear colorable colors. But to return to the verses, did they please you, Sir Nathaniel?
Marvelous well for the pen.
I do dine this day at the father's of a certain pupil of mine, where if, being repast, it shall please you to gratify the table with a grace, I will, on my privilege I have with the parents of the aforesaid child or pupil, undertake your bienvenuto, where I will prove those verses to be very unlearned, neither savoring of poetry, wit, nor invention. I beseech your society.
And thank you too. For society, saith the text, is the happiness of life.
And certes, the text most infallibly concludes it. Sir, I do invite you too. You shall not say me nay. Pauk de verbe. Away! The gentles are at their game, and we will to our recreation.
The king, he is hunting the deer. I am coursing myself. They have pitched a toil, I am toiling in pitch. Pitch that defiles, defile, a foul word. Well, set thee down, sorrow, for so they say the fool said, and so say I, and I the fool will prove it. By the Lord, this love is as mad as Ajax. It kills sheep, it kills me, I a sheep. Well proved again at my side. I will not love if I do hang me. I' faith, I will not. Oh, but her eye, by this light, but for her eye. I would not love her, yes, for her two eyes. Well, I do nothing in the world but lie, and lie in my throat. By heaven, I do love, and it hath taught me to rhyme, and to be melancholy. And here is part of my rhyme, and here is my melancholy. Well, she hath one of my sonnets already. The clown bore it, the fool sent it, and the lady hath it. Sweet clown, sweeter fool, sweetest lady. By the world, I would not care a pin if the other three were in. Ah, here comes one with a paper. God give him grace to groan.
Ay me.
Shot by heaven, sweet. Proceed, sweet Cupid. Thou hast thumped him with thy bird bolt unto the left pap in faith's secret.
So sweet a kiss the golden sun gives not those fresh morning drops upon the rose, as thy eye beams when their fresh rays have smote, the night of dew that on my cheeks down flows, nor shines a silver moon one half so bright through the transparent bosom of the deep, as doth thy face through tears of mine give light. Thou shinest in every tear that I do weep, no drop but as a coach doth carry thee, so ridest thou triumphing in my woe. Do but behold the tears that swell in me, and they thy glory through my grief will show. But do not love thyself, then thou wilt keep my tears for glasses and still make me weep. O Queen of Queens, how far dost thou excel? No thought can think, nor tongue or mortal tell. How shall she know my griefs? I'll drop the paper. Sweet leaves, shady folly. Who is he comes here? What? Longueville, and reading, listen ear.
Now in thy likeness one more fool appear.
Ay me, I am forsworn.
He comes in like a purger wearing papers.
In love I hope, sweet fellowship in shame.
One drunkard loves another of the name.
Am I the first that have been perjured so?
I could put thee in comfort, not by two that I know. Thou makest the triumphery, the corner cap of society, the shape of love's Tiburn that hangs up simplicity.
I fear these stubborn lines lack power to move. Oh, sweet Maria, empress of my love, these numbers will I tear and write in prose.
Oh, rhymes are guards on wanton Cupid's hose. Disfigure not his shop.
This same shall go. Did not the heavenly rhetoric of thine eye, against whom the world cannot hold argument, persuade my heart to this false perjury? Vows for thee broke deserve not punishment. Of woman I forswore, but I will prove thou being a goddess, I forswore not thee. My vow was earthly, thou a heavenly love. Thy grace being gained cures all disgrace in me. Vows are but breath, and breath a vapor is. Then thou fair sun, which on my earth doth shine, exhalest this vapor vow. In thee it is. If broken, then it is no fault of mine. If by me broke, what fool is not so wise to lose an oath to win a paradise?
This is the liver vein which makes flesh a deity, a green goose, a goddess, pure idolatry. God amend us, God amend, we are much out of the way.
By whom shall I send this company? Hey!
All hid, old infant play like a demigod. Here sit I in the sky, and wretched fools secret heedfully or I. More sacks to the mill. Oh heavens, I have my wish. Domain transformed, 4 woodcocks in a dish.
Oh, most divine Kate.
Oh, most profane coxcomb.
By heaven, the wonder of a mortal eye.
By earth she is not corporeal, there you lie.
Her amber hairs, for foul hath amber coated.
An amber-colored raven was well noted.
As upright as the cedar.
Stoop, I say, her shoulder is with child.
As fair as day.
Aye, as some days, but then no sun must shine.
Oh, that I had my wish.
And I had mine.
And I had mine.
And mine too, good lord.
Amen, so I had mine. Is that not that a good word?
I would forget her, but a fever she reigns in my blood and will remembered be.
A fever in your blood? Why, then incision would let out in saucers, sweet misprision.
More, I'll read the ode that I have writ.
Once more I'll mark how love can vary wit.
On a day, alack the day, love whose month is ever May, spied a blossom passing fair, playing in the wanton air. Through the velvet leaves the wind, all unseen can passage find, that the lover sick to death wish himself the heaven's breath. Ere, quoth he, thy cheeks may blow, ere would I my triumph sow. But alack, my hand is sworn ne'er to pluck thee from thy throne. Thou alack for youth unmeet, youth so apt to pluck a sweet. Do not call it sin in me, for I am forsworn for thee. Thou for whom Jove would swear, Juno but an Aethiop wear, and deny thyself for Jove, turning mortal for thy love. This will I send, and something else more plain, that shall express my true love's fasting pain. Oh, would the king, Barone, and Longueville were lovers too. Ill to example ill would from my forehead wipe a perjured note, for none offend, or all alike do dote.
Dumaine, thy love is far from charity, that in love's grief desires society. You may look pale, but I should blush, I know, to be o'erheard and taking napping so.
Come, sir, you blush. As your case is such, you chided him, offending him twice as much. You do not love Maria? Longueville did never sonnet for her sake compile, nor never lay his wreathed arms athwart his loving bosom to keep down his heart. I have been closely shrouded in this bush, and marked you both, and for you both did blush. I heard your guilty rhymes, observed your fashion, saw sighs reek from you, noted well your passion. I me, says one, oh Jove, the other cries. On her hairs were gold crystal, the other's eyes. You would for paradise break faith and troth. And Jove, for your love, would infringe an oath. What will Barone say when that he shall hear faith infringed, which such zeal did swear? Or will he scorn? How will he spend his wit? How will he triumph, leap, and laugh at it? For all the wealth that ever I did see, I would not have him know so much by me.
Now step I forth to wit hypocrisy. Good my liege, I pray you pardon me. Good heart, what grace hast thou thus to reprove these worms for loving, that art most in love? Your eyes do make no couches in your tears, there is no certain princess that appears. Yours not be perjured, 'tis a hateful thing, tush none but minstrels like of sonneting. But are you not ashamed? Nay, are you not all three of you to be thus much o'ershot? You found this mote is the king your mote did see, but I a beam do find in each of three. What a scene of foolery have I seen! Of sighs, of groans, of sorrow, and of teen. Of me, with what strict patience have I sat to see a king transformed into a gnat, to see great Hercules whipping a jig, and profound Solomon turning a jag, and Nestor play at pushpin with the boys, and critic Timon laugh at idle toys. Where lies thy grief? Oh, tell me, good Dumaine, and gentle Longueville, where lies thy pain? And where, my lieges? All about the breast? A candle, ho!
Too bitter is your jest. Are we betrayed thus to thy overview?
Not you by me, but I betrayed to you, that I am honest, that I hold it sin to break the vow I am engaged in. I am betrayed by keeping company with men like men of inconstancy. When shall you see me write a thing in rhyme, or groan for Joan, or spend a minute's time in pruning me, which when shall you hear that I will praise a hand, a foot, a face, an eye, a gait, a state, a brow, a breast, a waist, a leg, a limb?
Soft, whither away so fast? A true man or a thief that gallops so?
I post from love, good lover, let me go.
God bless the king.
What present hast thou there? Clown, speak.
Ken,
Must you
some certain
think?
treason.
What makes treason here?
Nay, if it makes nothing, sir.
If it mar nothing, neither the treason and you go in peace away together.
I beseech your grace, let this letter be read. Our person misdoubted. It was treason, he said.
Barone, read it over. Where hadst thou it?
Of Custard.
Where hadst thou it?
Of Don Adromadio.
How now?
Adro-
How now? What is in you? Why dost thou tear it?
A toy, my liege, a toy. Your grace needs not fear it.
Did move him to passion, and therefore let's hear it.
It is Barone's writing. And here is his name.
Ah, you horse and loggerhead, you were born to do me shame. Guilty, my lord, guilty. I confess. I confess.
What?
That you three fools lacked me, fool, to make up the mess. He, and you, my liege, and I are pick purses in love, and we deserve to die. Or dismiss this audience, and I shall tell you more.
Now the number is even.
True. We are four. Well, will these turtles be gone?
And sirs, away.
Look aside the true folk and let the traitors stay.
Sweet lords, sweet lovers, let us embrace. As true we are as flesh and blood can be. The sea will ebb and flow, heaven will show his face. Young blood doth not obey an old decree. We cannot cross the cause why we are born. Therefore, of all hands must we be forsworn.
What? Did these rent lines show some love of thine?
Did they, quoth you? Who sees the heavenly Rosaline that, like a rude and savage man of Indy, at the first opening of the gorgeous east, bows not his vassal head, and struck and blind kisses the base ground with obedient breast? What peremptory, eagle-sighted eye dares look upon the heaven of her brow that is not blinded by her majesty?
What zeal, what fury hath inspired thee now? My love, her mistress is a gracious moon. She, an attending star, scarce seen a light.
My eyes are then no eyes, nor I, Barone. Oh, but for my love, day would turn to night. Of all complexions, the cold sovereignty doth do meet as at a fair in her fair cheek, where several worthies make one dignity, where nothing wants that want itself doth seek. Lend me the flourish of all gentle tongues, fie, painted rhetoric. She needs it not. To things of sale, a seller praise belong. She passes praise, then praise too short doth blot. A withered hermit, 50 winters warm, might shake off 50, looking in her eye. Beauty doth varnish age, as if newborn, and gives the crutch the cradle's infancy. Oh, 'tis the sun that maketh all things shine.
By heaven, thy love is black as ebony.
Is ebony like her? Oh, word divine, a wife of such wood were felicity. Oh, who can give an oath? Where is a book that I may swear beauty doth beauty lack, if that she learn not of her eye to look? No face is fair that is not full so black.
Paradox. Black is the badge of hell, the hue of dungeons and the school of night. The beauty's crest becomes the heaven's well.
Devils soonest tempt resembling spirits of light. Oh, if in black my lady's brows be decked, if morns, that painting usurping hair, should ravish doters with a false aspect, and therefore she is born to make black fair. Her favor turns the fashion of the days, for native blood is counted painting now. And therefore red that would avoid dispraise paints itself black to imitate her brow.
To look like her are chimney sweepers black.
And since her time, our colliers counted bright.
And Ethiops of their sweet complexion crack.
Dark needs no candles now, for dark is light.
Your mistresses dare never come in rain, for fear their colors should be washed away.
Oh,
'Twere good yours did. For, sir, to tell you plain, I'll find a fairer face not washed today.
I'll prove her fair, or talk till doomsday's here.
No devil will fright thee then so much as she.
I never knew man hold vile stuff so dear.
Look, here's thy love, my foot in her face see.
Oh, if the streets were paved with thine eyes, her feet were much too dainty for such tread.
Oh, vile. Then as she goes, what upward lies? The street should see as she walked overhead.
But what of this? Are we not all in love?
Oh, nothing so sure, and thereby all forsworn.
Then leave this chat, and, good Barone, now prove our loving lawful, and our faith not torn.
I married there some flattery for this evil.
Oh, some authority how to proceed, some trick, some quillets, how to cheat the devil.
Some salve for perjury.
Oh, 'tis more than need. Have at you then, affection's men at arms. Consider what you first did swear unto: to fast, to study, and to see no woman. Flat treason against the kingly state of youth. Say, can you fast? Your stomachs are too young, and abstinence engenders maladies. And where that you have vowed to study, lords, in that each of you have forsworn his book, can you still dream and pore and thereon look? For when would you, my lord, or you, have found the grounds of study's excellence without the beauty of a woman's face? From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They are the ground, the book, the academs, from whence doth spring the true Promethean's fire. Why, universal plodding poisons up the nimble spirits in the arteries, as motion and long during action tires the sinewy vigor of the traveler. Now, for not looking on a woman's face, you have in that forsworn the use of eyes. And study too, the causer of your vow. For where is any author in the world teaches such beauty as a woman's eye? Learning is but an adjunct to ourself, and where we are, our learning likewise is. Then when ourselves we see in ladies' eyes with ourselves, do we not likewise see our learning there? Oh, we have made a vow to study, Lord, and in that vow we have forsworn our books. But when you would, my liege, or you, in leaden contemplation have found out such fiery numbers as the prompting eyes of beauty's tutors have enriched you with, other slow arts entirely keep the brain, and therefore finding barren practicers scarce show the harvest of their heavy toil. But love, first learned in a lady's eyes, lives not alone immured in the brain, but with the motion of all elements, courses as swift as thought in every power, and gives to every power a double power above their functions and their offices. It adds a precious seeing to the eye. A lover's eyes will gaze an eagle blind. A lover's ear will hear the lowest sound when the suspicious head of theft is stopped. Love's feeling is more soft and sensible than are the tender horns of cockled snails. Love's tongue proves dainty, Bacchus gross in taste. For valor is not love a Hercules, still climbing trees in the Hesperides, subtle as Sphinx, as sweet and musical as bright Apollo's lute strung with his hair. And when love speaks, the voice of all the gods makes heaven drowsy with the harmony. Never durst poet touch a pen to write until his ink were tempered with love's sighs. Oh, then his lines would ravish Sabbath ears and plant in tyrants mild humility. From women's eyes this doctrine I derive. They sparkle, still the right Promethean fire. They are the books, the arts, the academs that show, contain, and nourish all the world, else none at all in aught proves excellent. Then fools you were these women to forswear, or keeping what is sworn, you will prove fools, for wisdom's sake, a word that all men love, Or for love's sake, a word that loves all men? Or for men's sake, the author of these women? Or women's sake, by whom we men are men? Let's once lose our oaths to find ourselves, or else we lose ourselves to keep our oaths. It is religion to be thus forsworn, for charity itself fulfills the law. And who can sever love from charity?
Saint Cupid, then, and soldiers to the field!
Advance your standards and upon them, lords. Pell-mell, down with them, but be first advised in conflict that you get the son of them.
Now, to plain dealing, lay these glozes by. We resolve to woo these girls of France.
And win them too, therefore let us devise some entertainment for them in their tents.
First from the park, let us conduct them thither, then homeward every man attach the hand of his fair mistress, and in the afternoon we will with some strange pastime solace them, such as the shortness of the time can shape, for revels, dances, masks, and merry hours, forerun fair love, strewing her way with flowers.
Away, away, no time shall be omitted, that will be time, and may us be fitted.
Alone sowed cockle reaped no corn, and justice always whirls in equal measure. Light wenches may prove plagues to men forsworn. If so, our copper buys no better treasure.
Satis quid sufficit.
I praise God for you, sir. Your reasons at dinner have been sharp and sententious, pleasant without scurrility, witty without affection, audacious without impudency, learned without opinion, and strange without heresy. I did converse this quantum day with a companion of the king's, who is entitled, nominated, or called Don Adriano de Armado.
Novi hominum tanquente. His humor is lofty, his discourse peremptory, his tongue filed, his eye ambitious, his gait majestical, and his general behavior vain, ridiculous, and thrasonical. He's too picked, too spruce, too affected, too odd, as it were, too peregrinate, as I may call it.
A most singular and choice epithet.
He draweth out the thread of his verbosity, finer than the staple of his argument. I abhor such fanatical phantasms, such insociable and point device companions, such wreckers of orthography as to speak doubt fine, when he should say doubt, debt, when he should pronounce debt, not debt. He clappeth a calf, half, neighbor, vocator, never, nay, abbreviated, ne. This is abominable, which he would call abominable. It insinuateth me of infamy. Ne intelligis domine, to make frantic, lunatic.
Laus Deo bene intelligo.
Boon, for boon, prescan, a little scratched, 'twill serve.
Vitus nequis finit.
Video et gaudeo.
Record.
You're muted.
Is muted.
Chira.
Quari chira, not syrah.
Men of peace well encountered.
Most military, sir, salutation.
They have been at a great feast of languages and stolen the scraps.
Oh, they have lived long in the alms basket of words. I marvel thy master hath not eaten thee for a word, for thou art not so long by the head as honorific abilitudinitatibus. Thou art easier swallowed than a flapdragon.
Peace, the peal begins.
Monsieur, are you not letter?
Yes, yes, he teaches boys the horn book. What is Ab spelled backward with a horn on his head?
Ah, Puericia, with a horn added.
That most silly sheep with a horn, you hear his learning.
Quis, thou consonant.
The last of the 5 vowels if you repeat them, or the 5th if I.
I will repeat them. A-E-I.
The sheep, the other 2 concludes it O-U.
Now by the salt wave of the Mediterranean, a sweet touch, a quick wing witty of wit, snip, snap, quick and home. It rejoices my intellect, true wit.
Offered by a child to an old man, which is wit old.
What is the figure? What is the figure?
Horns.
Thou disputes like an infant. Go with thy jig.
Lend me a horn to make one, and I will whip about your infamy unum sita, a gig of a cuckold's horn.
And I had but 1 penny in the world, thou shouldst have it to buy gingerbread. Oh, there is the very remuneration I had of thy master, thou halfpenny purse of wit, thou pigeon egg of discretion. Oh, the heavens were so pleased that thou wert but my bastard. What a joyful father wouldst thou make me. Go to, thou hast it ad dunghill at the fingers' ends, as they say.
Oh, I smell false Latin, dunghill for unguem.
Artsman perambulat. We will be singled from the barbaros. Do you not educate youth at the charge house on top of the mountain?
Ormonds, the hill.
At your sweet pleasure for the mountain.
I do, sans question.
Sir, it is the king's most sweet pleasure and affection to congratulate the princess at her pavilion in the posteriors of this day, which the rude multitude call the afternoon.
The posterior of the day, most generous sir, is liable, congruent, and measurable for the afternoon. The word is well culled, chose, sweet, and apt. I do assure you, sir, I do assure.
Sir, the king is a noble gentleman and my familiar. I do assure you, very good friend, for what is inward between us, let it pass. I do beseech thee, remember thy courtesy. I beseech thee, apparel thy head, and among other importunate and most serious designs, and of great import indeed too, but let that pass. For I must tell ye, it would please his grace by the world sometime to lean upon my poor shoulder, and with his royal finger thus dally with my excrement, with my mustachio. Yeah, but sweetheart, let that pass. By the world I recount no fable. Some certain special honors it pleases its greatness to impart to Armado, a soldier, a man of travel that has seen the world. Oh, but let that pass. The very all of all is, but sweetheart, I do implore secrecy, that the king would have me present the princess, sweet Chuck, with some delightful ostentation to show or pageant or antique or firework. Now, understanding that the curate and your sweet self are good at such eruptions and sudden breaking out of mirth, as it were, I have acquainted you with all, to the end to crave your assistance.
Sir, you shall present before her the 9 worthies, Sir Holofernes, as concerning some entertainment of time, some show in the posterior of this day, to be rendered by our assistants the king's command. And this most gallant, illustrate, and learned gentleman before the princess, I say, none is so fit to present the 9 worthies.
Where will you find men worthy enough to present them?
Joshua, yourself, myself, and this gallant gentleman, Judas Maccabeus. This swain, because of his great limb or joint, shall pass Pompey the Great, the page Hercules.
Oh, pardon, sir. Error. He is not quantity enough for that worthy's thumb. He is not so big as the end of his club.
Shall I have audience? They shall present Hercules in minority. His enter and exit shall be strangling a snake, and I will have an apology for that purpose.
Bag.
Page, moth, moot.
An excellent device. So if any of the audience hiss, you may cry, "Well done, Hercules! Now thou cruelest the snake." That is the way to make an offense gracious, though few have the grace to do it.
For the rest of the worthies?
I will play 3 myself.
Thrice worthy gentlemen.
Shall I tell you a thing?
We attend.
We will have, if this fage not, an antique. I beseech you follow.
Via, good Mendel, thou hast spoken a word all this while.
Nor understood none neither, sir.
Alone we will employ thee.
I'll make one in a dance or so, or I will play on the tabor for the worthies and let them dance the hay.
Most dull, most dull, to our sport away.
Enter ladies.
Sweetheart, we shall be richer with depart, if faring come do plentiful in. A lady walked about with diamonds. Look you, what I have from the loving king.
Madam, came nothing else along with that?
Nothing but this. Yes, as much love in rhyme as I would be crammed up in sheet of paper, bright on both sides the leaf, margin and all, that he was fain to seal on Cupid's name.
That was the way to make his godhead wax, for he hath been 5,000 years a boy.
Aye, and a shrewd, unhappy gallus too.
You'll ne'er be friends with him, a killed your sister.
He made her melancholy, sad and heavy, and so she died. Had she been light like you, of such a merry, nimbling, stirring spirit, she might have been a grand dame ere she died. And so may you, for a light heart lives long.
What's your dark meaning, Mouse, of this light word?
A light condition and a beauty dark.
We need more light to find your meaning out.
You'll mar the light by taking it in snuff. Therefore, I'll darkly end the argument.
Look, what you do, it's still in the dark.
So do not you, for you are a light wench.
And did I weigh not you, and therefore light?
You weigh me not. Oh, that's you care not for me.
Great reason, for past care is still past cure.
Well, indeed, boss, a set of wit well played. But Rosaline, you have a favor too? Who sent it? And what is it?
I would you knew. And if my face were but as fair as yours, my favor were as great, be witness this. Nay, I have verses too. I thank Baron, the number's true, and were the numbering too. I were the fairest goddess on the ground. I am compared to 20,000 fairs. Oh, he hath drawn my picture in his letter.
Anything like?
Much in the letters, nothing in the praise.
Beauty as ink, a good conclusion.
Fair as a text fee in a copybook.
Where pencils? How? Let me not die your debtor, my red domicile, my golden letter. Oh, that your face were full of O's.
A pox of that jest, and I be through all shrouds. But Catherine, what was sent to you from fair domain?
Madame, this glove.
Did he not send you twain?
Yes, Madame. And moreover, some 1,000 verses of a faithful lover. A huge translation of hypocrisy, vilely compiled, profound simplicity.
This and these pearls to me send Longueville. The letter is too long by half a mile.
I think no less. Those thou wish in heart, the chain were longer and the letter short.
I would these hands might never part.
We are wise girls to mock our lovers so.
They are worse fools to purchase mocking so. That same Baron ill torture ere I go. Oh, that I knew he were but in by the week. How would I make him fawn, and beg and seek, and wait the season, and observe the times, and spend his prodigal wits in bootless rhymes, and shape his service wholly to my device, and make him proud to make me proud, that just to pertinent would I or reserve his state, that he should be my fool, and I his fate.
None are so surely caught when they are catched, as wit turned fool, folly is in wisdom hatched. As wisdom warrant, and the help of shule, and wits her own grace to grace a learned fool.
The blood of youth burns not with such excess, as gravity's revolt to wantons be.
Folly in fools bears not so strong a note, as foolery in the wise when wit does dote, since all the power thereof it doth apply to prove by wit worth and simplicity.
Here come boys, than mirth in his face.
Here comes it's me. Oh, sorry. Oh, I am stabbed with laughter. Where's her grace?
Thy newest Boyd?
Prepare, madam, prepare. Arm, wenches, arm, encounters mounted are. Against your peace, love doth approach, disguised. Armed in arguments, you be surprised. Must your wits stand in your own defense, or hide your heads like cowards and fly hence?
Saint Denis to Saint Cupid, what are they that charge their breasts against us? Say, scouts, they.
Under the cool shade of a sycamore, I thought to close mine eyes some half an hour, when lo, to interrupt my purpose rest, toward that shade I might behold addressed the king and his companions. Warily I stole into a neighbor thicket by, and overheard what you shall overhear. That by and by disguised they will be here. Their herald is a pretty knavish page, that well by heart hath conned his embauge. Action and accent did they teach him there. Thus must thou speak, and thus thy body bear. And ever and anon they made a doubt. Presence majestical would put him out. For quoth the king, an angel shalt thou see, yet fear not thou, but speak audaciously. The boy replied, an angel is not evil. I should have feared her had she been a devil. With that they all laughed, and clapped him on the shoulder, making the bold wag by their praises bolder. One rubbed his elbow thus, and fleed, and swore a better speech was never spoke before. Another with his finger in his thumb cried, Thea, we will do it. Come what may will come. The third he capered and cried, all goes well. The fourth turned on the toe, and down he fell. With that they all did tumble on the ground, with such a zealous laughter so profound, that in their spleen ridiculous appears to check their folly passions, solemn tears.
But what? But what? Come they to visit us?
They do, and are apparelled thus, like Muscovites or Russians, as I guess. Their purpose is to parley, to court and dance, and every one his love feet will advance unto his several mistress, which they know by favors several, which they did bestow.
And will they so? The gallant shall be tasked. For ladies we will every one be masked, and not a man of them shall have the grace, despite of such, to see a lady's face. Hold, Rosaline, this favor thou shalt wear, and then the king will court thee for his dare. Hold, take thou this, my sweet, and give me thine, so shall Beronice take me for Rosaline, and change your favors too. So shall your loves, woo contrary, deceived by these removes.
Come on then, where the favor's most in sight.
Miss Changing, what is your intent?
The effect of my intent is to cross theirs. They do it, but in mocking merriment. And mock for mock is only my intent. Their several counsels they unbosom shall, to love mistook, and so be mocked withal. Upon the next occasion that we meet, with visage displayed to talk and greet.
But shall we dance, if they desire us to it?
No, to the death we will not move our foot, nor to their pen speech render we no grace. But while he spoke, each turned away his face.
Oh, why that contempt will kill the keeper's heart, and quite divorce his memory from his part.
Therefore I do it, and make no doubt the rest will ere come in, if he be out. There is no such sport as sport by sport or worn, to make theirs ours, and ours none but our own. So shall we stay mocking ended game, and they shall mock, depart away with shame.
The trumpet sounds, be masked, the maskers come.
All hail the richest beauties on the earth,
Beauty's no richer than rich taffeta.
a holy parcel of the fairest dames that ever turned their backs to mortal views,
Their eyes, villain, their eyes.
that ever turned their eyes to mortal views, out
True, out indeed.
of your favors heavenly spirits vouchsafe not to behold,
Once to behold, rogue.
once to behold with your sunbeamed eyes, with your sunbeamed eyes.
They will not answer to that epithet. You would best call it daughter beamed eyes.
They do not mark me, and that brings me out.
Is this your perfectness? Begone, you rogue.
What with these strangers? Know their minds, boy? If they do speak our language, 'tis our will that some plain man recount their purposes. Know what they would?
What would you with the princes?
Nothing but peace and a gentle visitation.
What would they say they?
Nothing but peace and gentle. Oh, go ahead. Nothing but peace and gentle visitation.
Why, that they have, and bid them so be gone.
She says you have it and you be gone.
Say to her, we have measured many miles to tread a measure with you on the grass.
They say they have measured many a mile to tread a measure with you on the grass.
It is not so. Ask them how many inches is in 1 mile. If they have measured many, the measure then of one is easy told.
If to come hither you have measured miles and many miles, the princess bids you tell how many inches doth fill up 1 mile.
Tell her we measure them by weary steps.
She hears herself.
How many weary steps of many weary miles have you gone, or numbered in the travel of 1 mile?
We number nothing that we spend for you. Our duty is so rich, so infinite, that we may do it still without a comment. Vouchsafe to know, to show the sunshine of your face, that we, like savages, may worship it.
Oh, my face is but a moon, and clouded too.
Blessed are the clouds to do as clouds do. Vouchsafe, bright moon, and these thy stars to shine. Those clouds be moved upon our watery eye.
O vain petitioner, beg a greater matter. Thou now request but moonshine in the water.
And in our measure vouchsafe but one change. Thou biddest me beg. This begging is not strange.
Oh, play music then. Oh nay, you must do it soon. Not yet, no dance. Thus change I, like the moon.
Would you not dance? How come you thus estranged?
You took the moon at full, but now she's changed?
Yet still she is the moon and I the man.
Oh, the music plays, vouchsafe some motion to it. Oh, our ears, vouchsafe it.
But your legs should do it.
Oh, since you are strangers and come here by chance, will not be nice. Take hands. We will not dance.
Why take few hands then?
Only to part, friends. Curtsy, sweethearts, and so the measure ends.
What measure of this measure be not nice?
We can afford no more at such a price.
Yet buys yourselves. What buys you company?
Your absence only.
Can ever be.
Then cannot we be bought, and so adieu? Twice to your visor, and half once to you.
If you deny to dance, let's hold more chat.
In private, then.
I am best pleased with that.
A white-handed mistress, one sweet word with thee.
Honey and milk and sugar, there is 3.
Nay, then 2 trays. And if you grow so nice, methylene, wort, and malmsey, well-run dice, there is half a dozen sweets.
7 sweet adieu, since you can cog, I'll play no more with you.
1 word in secret.
Let it not be so sweet.
Thou griev'st my gall.
Gall, bitter.
Therefore mead.
You vouchsafe with me to change a word?
Name it.
Fair lady.
Say you so, fair lord? Take you that for your fair lady.
Please it you, as much in private, and I'll bid adieu.
What, was your visit made without a tongue?
I know the reason, lady, why you ask.
Oh, for your reason, quickly, sir, I long.
You have a double tongue within your mask, and would afford my speechless visored half.
Veal what the Dutchman? Is not veal a calf?
A calf, fair lady?
No, a fair lord calf.
Let's part the word.
No, I'll not be your half. Take all and lean it. It may prove an ox.
Look how you butt yourself in these sharp marks. Will you give horns, chaste lady? Do not so.
Then die a calf before your horns do grow.
1 word in private with you ere I die.
Bleat softly then, the butcher hears you cry.
The tongues of mocking wenches are as keen as is the razor's edge invisible, cutting a smaller hair than may be seen above the sense so sensible. Seemeth their conference, their conceits have wings, fleeter than arrows, bullets winds, thought swift of things.
Not 1 more word, my maids. Break off. Break off.
By heaven, all dry, beaten with pure scoff.
20 adieux, my frozen Muscovits. Are these the bread of wits so wondered at?
Tape as they are with your sweet breaths puffed out.
Well-liking wits, they have gross, fat.
Oh, poverty in wit, kingly poor flout. Will they not, think you, hang themselves tonight, or ever put in wizard's shoe on their face? Despert Berones was out of count name quite.
They were all in lamentable cases. The king was weeping ripe for a good word.
Berone did swear himself out of all sweet.
At my service, and his sword, no, quoth I, my servant rate was mute.
But Longueville said I came o'er his heart. And Trout, what he called me?
Whelms, perhaps?
Yes, in good faith.
So go sickness as thou art.
Well, better wits have worn plain statue caps. But will you hear? The king is my love sworn.
And quick Beron has plighted faith to me.
And Longueville was from my service born.
Humane as mine as sure as bark on the tree.
Madam and pretty mistresses, give ear. Immediately they will again be here in their own shapes, for it can never be they will digest this harsh indignity.
Will they return?
Oh, they will, God knows. Leap for joy, though they are lame with blows. Therefore change favors, and when they repair, blow like sweet roses in this summer air.
How blow, how blow. Speak to be understood.
Fair ladies masked are roses in their bud, demasked that damask sweet commixture shown, are angels veiling clouds or roses blown.
Avent perplexity, what shall we do if they return in their own shape to woo?
Good madam, if by me you'll be advised, let's mock them still as well known as disguise. Let us complain to them about what fools were here, disguised like Muscovites in shapeless gear, and wonder what they were and to what end their shallow shows, and prologue vividly penned, and their rough carriage so ridiculous should be presented to at our tent to us.
Ladies withdrawn, the gallants are at hand.
Whip our tents as roe runs our lands.
There, sir, God save you. Where's the princess?
Gone to her tent. Please it your majesty, command me any service to her.
That she vouchsafe me audience for one word.
I will, and so will she. I know, my lord.
This fellow picks up wit as pigeons peas, and utters it again when Jove doth please. He is wit's peddler, and retails his wares at wakes and wassails, meetings, markets, fairs. And we that sell by gross, the Lord doth know, have not the grace to grace it with such show. This gallant pins the wenches on his sleeve. Had he been Adam, he had tempted Eve, he can carve to and lisp. Why, this is he that kissed away this hand in courtesy. This is the ape of form, Monsieur the Nice, that when he plays at tables chides the dice in honorable terms. Nay, he can sing a mean, most meanly, and in ushering mend him who can. The ladies call him sweet. The stairs, as he treads on them, kiss his feet. This is the flower that smiles on everyone, to show his teeth as white as whale's bone. And consciences that will not die in debt pay him the duty of honey-tongued bullet.
A blister on his sweet tongue with my heart that put Armathos' page out of his part.
See where it comes. Behave thou our work till this madman showed thee. And what art thou now?
All hail, sweet madam, in fair time of day.
Fair in whole all is full, as I conceive.
Construe my speeches better, if you may.
Then wish me better. I will give you leave.
We came to visit you, and purpose now to lead you to our court. Vouchsafe it then.
This field shall hold me, and so hold your vow. Nor God nor I delights in perjured men.
Rebuke me not for that which you provoke. The virtue of your eye must break my oath.
You nickname virtue, this vice you should have spoke. For virtue's office never breaks men's troth. Now, by my maiden honor, yet as pure as the unsullied lily, I protest. A word of torment thought I should endure. I will not yield to be your house guest. So much I hate a breaking cause to be of heavenly oath. Now with integrities.
Well, you have lived in desolation here, unseen, unvisited, much to our shame.
Not so, my lord. It is not so, I swear. We have had pastime here, and pleasant game. A mess of Russians left us but of late.
How, madam? Russians?
Aye, in truth, my lord. Trim gallants full of courtship and of state.
Madam, speak true. It is not so, my lord. My lady, to the manner of the days, in courtesy gives undeserving praise. We four indeed confronted were with four in Russian habit. Here they stayed an hour and talked apace, and in that hour, my lord, they did not bless us with one happy word. I dare not call them fools, but this I think, when they are thirsty, fools would fain have drink.
This jest is dry to me. Gentle sweet, your wits make wise things foolish when we greet with eyes best seeing, heaven's fiery eye. By light we lose light. Your capacity is of that nature that to your huge store wise things seem foolish, and rich things but poor.
This proves you wise and rich, for in my eye.
I am a fool and full of poverty.
But that you take what doth to you belong, it were a fault to snatch words from my tongue.
Oh, I am yours, and all that I possess.
All the fool mine?
I cannot give you less.
Which of the vizards what it that you wore?
Where? When? What vizard? Why demand you this?
Well, there then, that vizard, that superfluous case that hid the worse and showed the better face.
We are descried. They'll mock us now downright.
Let us confess and turn it to a jest.
Amazed, my lord, why looks your Highland sad?
Help hold his brows, he'll sound, why look you pale? Seasick, I think, coming from Muscovy.
Thus pour the stars down plagues for perjury. Can any face of brass hold longer out? Here stand I, lady, dart thy skill at me, bruise me with scorn, confound me with a flout, thrust thy sharp wit quite through my ignorance, cut me to pieces with thy keen conceit, and I will wish thee nevermore to dance, nor nevermore in Russian habit wait. Oh, never will I trust to speeches penned, nor to the motion of a schoolboy's tongue, nor never come in vizard to my friend, nor woo in rhyme like a blind harper's song, taffeta phrases, silken terms precise, three-piled hyperbole, spruce affection, figures pedantical, these summer flies have blown me full of maggot ostentation. I do forswear them. And here I protest. By this white glove, how white the hand doth know, God knows, henceforth my wooing mind shall be expressed in russet yeas and honest kersey noes. And to begin, wench, so God help me law, my love to thee is sound. Sans crack or flaw.
Sans, I pray you.
Yet I have a trick of the old rage. Bear with me, I'm sick. I'll leave it by degrees. Soft, let us see. Right, Lord, have mercy on us. On these three, they are infected in their hearts, it lies. They have the plague and caught it of your eyes. These lords are visited. You are not free, for the Lord's token on you do I see.
No, they are free that gave these tokens to us.
Our states are forfeit. Seek not to undo us.
It is not so, for how can this be true, that you stand forfeit, being those that sue?
Peace, for I will not have to do with you.
Nor shall not if I do as I intend.
Speak for yourselves. My wit is at an end.
Teach us, sweet madam, for our rude transgression, some fair excuse.
The fairest is confession. Were you not here, but even now disguised?
Madam, I was.
And were you well advised?
I was fair, madam.
When you then were here, what did you whisper in your lady's ear?
That more than all the world I did respect her.
When shall I challenge this? You will reject her.
Upon my honor, no.
Peace, peace, forbear. Your oath once broke, you force not to forswear.
Despise me when I break this oath of mine.
I will, and therefore keep it, Rosaline. What did the Russian whispers in your ear?
Madam, he swore that he did hold me dear as precious eyesight, and did value me above this world, adding thereto, moreover, that he would wed me, or else die my lover.
God give thy joy of him, the noble lord, most honorably does uphold his words.
What mean you, madam? About my life, my troth. I never swore this lady such an oath.
By heaven you did, and to confirm it plain, you gave me this. But take it, sir, again.
My faith in this, the princess I did give. I knew her by this jewel on her sleeve.
Pardon me, sir, this jewel did she wear, and Lord Berone, I thank him, is my dear. What? Will you have me, or your pearl again?
Neither of either. I remit both twain. I see the trick on't. Here was a consent knowing aforehand of our merriment to dash it like a Christmas comedy. Some carry tale, some please man, some slight zany, some mumble news, some trencher knight, some dick that smiles his cheek in years and knows the trick to make my lady laugh when she's disposed. Told our intents before, which once disclosed, the ladies did change favors, and then we, following the signs, wooed but the sign of she. Now to our perjury add more terror. We are again forsworn in will and error, much upon this did. And might not you forestall our sport to make us thus untrue? Do not you know my lady's foot by the squire, and laugh upon the apple of her eye, and stand between her back, sir, and the fire, holding the trencher, jesting merrily? You put our page out. Go, you are allowed. Die when you will. The smock shall be your shroud. You leer upon me, do you? Their eye wounds like a leaden sword.
Full merrily hath this brave manager this career been run.
Lo, he's tilting straight. Peace. I have done. Ah, welcome, pure wit. Thou part's the fair fray.
Oh, Lord, sir, I would know whether the three worthies shall come in or no.
What, are there but three?
No, sir, but it is very fine for everyone presents three.
And 3 times thrice is 9.
Not so, sir. Under correction, sir, I hope it is not so. You cannot beg us, sir. I can assure you, sir, we know what we know. I hope, sir, 3 times thrice, sir.
Is not 9?
Under correction, sir, we know where until it doth amount.
By Jove, I always took 3 threes for 9.
Oh, Lord, sir, a pity you should get your living by reckoning, sir.
How much is it?
Oh, Lord, sir, the parties themselves, the actors, sir, will show whereuntil it doth amount. Mine own part, I am, as they say, but a perfect one man, and one poor man, Pompion the Great, sir.
Art thou one of the worthies?
It pleased them to think me worthy of Pompey the Great. Mine own part, I know not the degree of the worthy, but I understand for him.
No. Go bid them prepare.
We will turn it finally off, sir. We will take some care.
Roan, they will shame us. Let them not approach.
We are shame-proof, my lord, and 'tis some policy to have one show worse than the king and his company.
I say they shall not come.
Nay, my good lord, let me o'errule you know, that sport best please, that doth least know how, where zeal strive to content, and the contents dies in the zeal of that which is present. Their form confounded makes most form in mere, when great things laboring perish in their birth.
A right description of our sport, my lord.
Enter Brackett. Enter Brackett.
Yeah. Anointed, I implore so much expense of thy royal sweet breath as will utter a brace of words.
Does this man serve God?
Why ask you?
He speaks not like a man of God making.
That's all one, my fair, sweet, honey monarch. For I protest the schoolmaster is exceeding fantastical. Too vain, too vain. But we will put it, as they say, to Fortuna della Gloire. I wish you the peace of mind, most royal compliment.
Here is like to be a good presence of worthies. He presents Hector of Troy, the swain Pompey, that great, the parish accurate Alexander, Armado's page Hercules, the pedant Judas Maccabeus. And if these four worthies in their first show thrive, these four will change habits and present the other five.
There's 5 in the first show.
You are deceived. It is not so.
The pedant, the braggart, the hedge priest, the fool, and the boy. They throw at novum and the whole world again. Cannot prick out 5 such. Take each one's vein.
The ship is under sail, and here she comes amain.
I, Pompey, am.
You lie, you're not he.
I, Pompey, am.
Well,
With
well said,
Bird's head on knee.
well said, old mucker. I must needs be friends with thee.
I, Pompey, am. Pompey's surnamed the Big.
The great.
It is great, sir. Pompey, surnamed the Great, that often fields with targe and shield did make my foe to sweat. And travailing along this coast, I hear him come by chance, and lay me arms before the legs of this sweet lass of France. If your ladyship would say thanks, Pompey, I had done.
Enter curate for Alexander.
Wait
When
a
is the-
minute.
That's
You
me.
skipped ahead.
Yeah. Let's go. Okay. When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander. By east, west, north, and south, I spread my conquering might. My scutcheon plains declares that I am Alexander.
Your nose says no, you're not, for it stands to right.
Your nose smells no in this most tender smelling night.
The conqueror is dismayed. Proceed, good Alexander.
When in the world I lived, I was the world's commander.
Most true, 'tis right. You were so Alexander.
Pompey the Great.
Your servant and costard.
Take away the conqueror. Take away Alexander.
Oh, sir, you have overthrown Alexander the Conqueror. You'll be scraped out of the painted cloth for this. Your line that holds this pollock sitting on a close steel will be given to Ajax. He will be the ninth worthy, a conqueror and afraid to speak. Run away for shame, Alexander. There, and shall please you, a foolish, mild man, an honest man looking, and soon dashed. He is a marvelous, and alas, you see how 'tis, a little are parted. But there are worthies a coming will speak their minds in some of the sort.
Stand aside, good Pompey.
Enter pendant for Judas and the boy for Hercules. Pendant.
Great Hercules is presented by this imp whose club killed Cerberus, that three-headed Canos, and when he was a babe, a child, a shrimp, lest he strangle serpents in his manus. Quoniam he's seen in minority. Ergo, I come with this apology. Keep some state in thy exit and vanish.
Exit boy.
Judas I am.
Judas?
Not Iscariot, sir. Judas I am, eclipsed Maccabeus.
Judas Maccabeus clipped is plain Judas.
Kissing traitor, how art thou proved Judas?
Judas I am.
But more shame for you, Judas.
What mean you, sir? What mean you, sir?
To make Judas
Boy.
hang himself.
Begin, sir, you are my elder.
Well followed. Judas was hanged on an elder.
I will not be put out of countenance.
Because thou hast no face.
What is this?
A Saturn head.
The head of a bodkin.
A death face and a ring.
The face of an old Roman coin, scarce seen.
The pommel of Caesar's Voltion.
The carved bone face on a flask.
St. George's half cheek and a brooch.
Aye, and in a brooch of lead.
Aye, and worn in the cap of a tooth drawer. And now forward, for we have put thee in countenance.
You have put me out of countenance,
False, we have given thee faces.
but you have outfaced them all.
And thou wert a lion. We would do so.
Therefore, as he is an ass, let him go. And so adieu, sweet Jude. Why dost thou stay?
For the latter end of his name.
For the ass to the Jude, give it him. Jude us as away.
This is not generous, nor gentle, nor humble.
A light for Monsieur Judas. It grows dark. He may stumble.
Alas, poor Maccabeus, how has he been baited?
Hide thy head, Achilles. Here comes Hector in arms.
Though my mocks come home by me, I will now be merry.
And to
Sir, I was but a Trojan in respect to this.
but is this Hector?
I think Hector was not so clean timbered.
His leg is too big for Hector.
More calf, certain.
No, he is best endued in the small.
This cannot be Hector.
He's a god or painter, for he makes faces.
The armipotent Mars of Launces the Almighty gave Hector a gift.
A gilt nutmeg.
11.
Stuck with cloves.
No cloven.
The armipotent Mars of Launces the Almighty gave Hector a gift, the heir of Ilion. A man so breed that certain he would fight, yea, from morn till night, out of his pavilion. I am that flower.
That mint?
That Columbine.
Sweet Lord Longueville, rein thy tongue.
I must rather give it the rein, for it runneth against Hector.
Aye, And Hector's a greyhound.
The sweet war man is dead and rotten. Sweet chuckles beat not the bones of the buried, but I will forward with my device. Sweet royalty, bestow on me the sense of hearing.
Speak, brave Hector. We are much delighted.
I do adore thy sweet grace's slipper.
Loves her by the foot.
Love he may not by the yard.
This Hector far surmounted Hannibal. The party is gone.
Fellow Hector, she is gone. She is 2 months on her way.
What meanest thou?
Faith, unless you play the honest Trojan, which apparently you did not use, the poor wench is cast away. She's quick. The child brags in her belly already. 'Tis yours.
Oh, dost thou infamonize me among potentates? Thou shalt die.
Then shall Hector be whipped for Jacinetta that is quick by him, and hanged for Pompey that is dead by him.
Most rare Pompey.
Renowned Pompey.
Greater than great Pompey. Pompey the huge.
Hector trembles.
Pompey is moved. More attes, stir them, or stir them on.
Hector will challenge him.
Aye, if he has no more man's blood in his belly, then we'll sup a flea.
By the North Pole, I do challenge thee.
I will not fight with a pole like a northern man. I'll slash. I'll do it by the sword. I pray you, let me borrow my arms again.
Room for the incensed worthies.
I'll do it in my shirt.
Most resolute Pompey.
Page. Where's a page? The boy is a page. Boy, Rachel.
She had to leave.
Oh.
Master, let me take you a buttonhole lower. Do you not see Pompey is uncasing for the combat? What mean you? You will lose your reputation.
Gentlemen and soldiers, pardon me, I will not combat in my shirt.
You may not deny it. Pompey hath made the challenge.
Sweet bloods, I both may and will.
What reason have you for it?
The naked truth of it is I have no shirt. I go woolward for penance.
Oh, true. And it was enjoined him in Rome for want of linen, since when I'll be sworn and he wore none, but a dishcloth of jaquenettes, and that he wears next his heart for a favor.
God save you, madam.
Welcome, Maracade. But thou dost interrupted her merriment.
I am sorry, madam, for the news I bring is heavy in my tongue. The king, your father.
Dead for my life?
Even so, my tale is told.
Worthies away, the scene begins to cloud.
Mine own part, I breathe free breath. I have seen the day of Rome, through the little hole of discretion, and I will right myself like a soldier.
How fares your majesty?
Boyd prepared. I will away tonight.
Madam, not so. I do beseech you, stay.
Prepare, I say. I thank you, gracious lords, for all your fair endeavors and entreats. Out of a new sad soul, that you would chef in your rich wisdom to excuse or hide the liberal opposition of her spirits. If over boldly we have borne ourselves in the converse of Brest, your gentleness was guilty of it. Farewell, worthy lord. A heavy heart bear not a humble tongue. Excuse me so, coming so short of thanks for my great suite, so easily obtained.
Extreme parts of time, extremity forms all causes to the purpose of the speed. And often at his very loose decides that which long process could not arbitrate. And though the morning brow of progeny forbid the smiling courtesy of love, the holy sweet which fain it would convince, yet since love's argument was first on foot, let not the cloud of sorrow justle it from what it purposed. Since to wail friends lost is not by much so wholesome profitable as to rejoice at friends but newly found.
I understand you not. My griefs are double.
Honest, plain words best pierce the ears of grief, and by these badges understand the king. For your fair sakes we neglected time, played foul play with our oaths. Your beauty, ladies, hath much deformed us, fashioning our humors even to the opposite ends of our intent. And what in us hath seemed ridiculous, as love is full of unbefitting strains, all wanton as a child, skipping and vain, formed by the eye and therefore like the eye, full of straying shapes, of habits, and of forms, varying in substance as the eye doth rule, and every varied object in his glance, which party-coated presence of loose love, put on by us, if in your heavenly eyes have become our oaths and gravities, these heavenly eyes that look into these faults, suggested us to make. Therefore, ladies, our love being yours, the error that love makes is likewise yours. We to ourselves prove false, by being once false, forever to be true to those that make us both, fair ladies, you. And even that falsehood in itself a sin, thus purifies itself and turns to grace.
We have received your letters, full of love, your favors, the ambassadors of love, and in our maiden counsel rated them. At courtship, pleasant jest and courtesy, as bombast and as lining to the time, but more devout than these are a respect. Have we not been? And therefore meet your loves in their own fashion, like merriment?
Her letters, madam, showed much more than jest.
So did our looks.
We did not coat
Right.
them so.
Now at the latest minute of the hour, grant us your loves.
At time me think too short, to make a world without end bargaining. No, no, my lord, your grace is perjure much, full of their guiltiness, and therefore this. It is for my love, as there is no such cause. You will do aught, this shall you do for me. Your oath I will not trust, but go with speed to some forlorn and naked hermitage, remote from all the pleasures of the world. There stay until the 12 celestial signs have brought about their annual reckoning. If this austere, insociable life change not your offer made in hearts of blood, if frost and fast, hard longing, and thin weeds nip not the gaudy balsam of your love, but that it bears this trial and last love, then at that expiration of the year, come, challenge me this desert, and by this virgin palm, now kissing thine, I will be thine, until that instant shut, my woeful self up in mourning house, raining the tears of lamentation for the remembrance of my father's death. If this thou do deny, let her hand part, neither entitled in the other heart.
If this or more of this I would deny, to flatter up these powers of mine with rest, the sudden hand of death close up mine eye, hence ever then my heart is in thy breast.
And what to me, my love? And what to me?
You must be Purged too. Your sins are racked. You are attainted with faults and perjury. Therefore, if you my favor mean to get, a 12-month shall you spend, and never rest, but seek the weary beds of people sick.
But what to me, my love? What to me?
A wife, a beard, fair health, and honesty. With threefold love, I wish you all these three.
Oh, shall I say I thank you, gentle wife?
Not so, my lord. A 12-month and a day. I'll mark no words as smooth-faced wooers say. Come when the king does to my lady come. Then, if I have much love, I'll give you some.
I'll serve thee true and faithfully till then.
Yet swear not, lest you be forsworn again.
What says Maria?
At the 12-month end, I'll change my black gown for a faithful friend.
Maria. You're Maria?
Well, I am
Yeah,
now,
she had to
yes.
go.
I'll stay with patience, but the time is long.
The like are you, few taller are so young. Studies, my lady? Mistress, look on me. Behold the window of my heart, mine eye. What humble suit attends thy answer there? Impose some service on me for my love.
Oft have I heard of you, my lord Baron. Before I saw you, the world's large tongue proclaims you for a man replete with mocks, full of comparisons and wounding flouts, which you on all estates will execute that lie within the mercy of your wit, to weed this wormwood from your fruitful brain, and therewithal to win me if you please, without the which I am not to be won. You shall this 12-month term from day to day visit the speechless sick, and still converse with groaning wretches. And your tasks shall be, with all the fierce endeavor of your wit, to enforce the pained impotent to smile.
To move wild laughter in the throat of death? It cannot be, it's impossible. Mirth cannot move a soul in agony.
Why, that's the way to choke the gibbing spirit. Whose influence is begot of that, the loose grace, which shallow laughing hearers give to fools? A just prosperity lies in the ear of him that hears it, never in the tongue of him that makes it. Then, if sickly ears, deaf with the clamors of their own dear groans, will hear your idle scorns, continue then, and I will have you, and that fault withal. But if they will not, throw away thy spirit, and I shall find you empty of that fault, right joyful of your reformation.
A 12-month? Well, before what will befall, I'll jest a 12-month in an hospital.
Aye, sweet my lord, and so I take my leave.
No, madam. We will bring you on your way.
Our wooing doth not end like an old play. Jack hath not Jill. These ladies' courtesy might well have made our sport a comedy.
Come, sir, it wants a 12-month and a day, and then 'twill end.
It's too long for a play.
Sweet Majesty, vouchsafe me.
Was not that Hector?
Worthy knight of Troy.
I will kiss thy royal finger and take leave. I am a votary. I have vowed to Jacanetta to hold the plough for her sweet love 3 years. But most esteemed greatness, will you hear the dialogue that the two learned men have compiled in praise of the owl and the cuckoo? It should have followed in the end of our show.
Call them forth quickly. We will do so.
Hola, approach. This side is hymns, winter. This ver, the spring, the one maintained by the owl. The other is the cuckoo. There, begin.
When daisies hide and violets blue, and cuckoo buds of yellow hue, and lady smocks all silver white, do paint the meadows with delight. The cuckoo then on every tree mocks married man, for thus sings he. Cuckoo, 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 a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. Cuckoo, cuckoo, a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When shepherds pipe on oaten straws, and merry larks are ploughmen's clocks, and when turtles tread, and rooks and daws, and maidens bleach their summer smocks, the cuckoo then on every tree mocks married men, for thus sings he. Cuckoo, 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 a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. Cuckoo, cuckoo, a word of fear, unpleasing to a married ear. When icicles hang by the wall, and Dick the shepherd blows his nail, and Tom bears logs into the hall, and milk comes frozen home in pail. When blood is nipped and ways be foul, then nightly sings the staring owl. To woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth kill the pot. To woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth kill the pot. When all aloud the wind doth blow, and coughing drowns the parson's saw, and birds sing brooding in the snow, and Marian's nose looks red and raw. When roasting crabs hiss in the bowl, then nightly sings the staring owl. To woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth kill the pot. To woo a merry note, while greasy Joan doth kill the pot.
The words of Mercury are harsh after the songs of Apollo. You that way, we this way.
Yay, well done. Thank you all very much. That was a lot of fun to listen to. I know we had some confusion and some technical difficulties, but very good job.
Computer crashing issues, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, my computer crashed once in the middle of it. Fortunately, I was not on stage.
Hey, I gotta go, guys. I'm sorry to read and run. I gotta go. I gotta get to work. Bye-bye.
All right, yes, thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much.
I am so sorry to arrive late, Paul. I really, I'm so glad you caught me on the phone. I was going somewhere, so thank you.
Oh, yeah. Fortunately, you were watching, so yeah, that's good. I'm very glad, and yeah, royalty has its prerogatives. If you are.
Yeah.
I was watching on my iPhone, so then I had to run and go and get my computer and the text, and so. But yeah, I apologize, but thank you.
But you came in right on cue. You came in right on cue.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, but I had no idea where I was.
That's all right. Not actually sure we did either a lot of the time.
Yes,
Marie?
I agree.
Marie and Bill, would either of you be interested in being in Liz Estrada on Thursday?
Depending at what time.
7:30.
I'm sorry, I cannot commit. I'm traveling at about that time. Some other time I would have loved to.
It's going to be shown internationally.